Greetings everyone, today I'm talking about Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, a female British writer who wrote the 16 book series, The Realm of the Elderlings. Let me just bring up a picture of that. That's what the completed set with the British covers looks like. I'd like to collect the whole set. I've got the first three and then I've got the next two in the American covers. But, yeah, let me just bring this up real quick. This is the Orson Scott Card series, Tales of Alvin Maker, which this reminded me a lot of because the magic system is very similar to this. Because in this is like Pioneer America. Of course, Orson Scott Card's a Mormon, and you can kind of see the influences there. Joseph Smith coming to him, or Jesus coming to America, whatever. But he's got like this mental power where he can make this thing in his mind. He calls it a doodle bug, and he can send it out into like stone or materials, and he can kind of work it with his mind and like figure out weaknesses and strengths. He can like use the green energy of the forest to run without using energy or something. That's like real like a mental thing. Also, Dune kind of has a similar thing with like fear is the mind killer. You know, it's like a mental way to like overcome your own weaknesses, and like it gives you some kind of martial arts ability or something. I don't really understand doing that much, but this was another one of those books I'm going to be adding to my favorites because I just really liked it. It's kind of short. I read it in like 3 days. Probably should have read it in 2 days, but I don't know. I got a little bit distracted. The next two books are pretty much thicker boys. Let me start with the bad. There's not really much bad about this. I do feel like Robin Hobb is not very good at names, because this is the Farseer trilogy, which is about a family. The royal family is called the Farseer family because they're in this land. It's like a peninsula, kind of. It's like there's islands around, and then there's like the rain wilds, like wild forest stuff where dragons and stuff lives off to the west, and there's like some mountain people there. And then you got islands, and you got these like people called the Red Ship Raiders that are fucking shit up. And there's a little town to the northeast called Forge. The Red Ship Raiders come in and they start stealing people, and they try to get money. What is it called? They kidnap them and they demand a ransom, or they're going to let them go, which is like, they said, like, don't you have that backwards? Why would you, if we don't give you money, you're going to let them go? And they're like, they let them go and they come back like zombies. So I don't know what they're doing. They don't really say what, they call it forging because the town's called Forge, but they come back with no soul almost, like they can still talk and answer questions, but they're mean and they just want to steal and eat, and they just kind of like wander, and they're just like soulless zombies pretty much. They don't act quite like zombies, but they'll steal and like murder and all kinds of dumb shit. So there's two types of mental magic in this story. The main character is called, the naming thing, by the way. The way she's the Farseer family, the king's name is like Shrewd. Like their names are kind of like virtues or something. Verity, Chivalry. The original king's name was Taker, or that's what it translated to. And then there's another king named Bounty. So there's a princess. I forgot. They have like their names are all like virtues that are already words. So Robin Hobb didn't have to come up with anything. But then like there's this girl. There's kind of a love story between Fitz, who's the main character, which is, he's the son of that guy Chivalry. He's like a prince, but he's like the bastard son. This is one of those like Game of Thrones. There's so many stories that are like there's a special bastard. I'm going to call it the special bastard trope. Like somebody don't know who their father is, and they have special abilities because of it. And so his name becomes Fitz Chivalry at the end when he finds out, or he gets like unbastardized. They accept him as a royal person or something. But there's this girl named Molly who, like, when they're kids, they're running around, they have like dumb names. He's called New Boy because he's the new boy. Molly's name is Molly Nosebleed. I don't know why. But then later he finds out her mother wanted to name her Molly Nosegay. I'm like, Molly Nosegay? What the fuck is up? The Molly Nosegay? What's wrong with her nose? And then like her dad's a candlestick maker. He's a chandler. So then she just became Molly Chandler. The last names are really weird. Like some of them don't seem to have last names. Some of them, I guess, they're all just the Farseer family. And then you get to the mountain folk at the end. They kind of have strange names too. Then there's this guy, the Fool. He's like the king's jester, or whatever that he bought. And like I know, like the later books are going to be like Fitz and the Fool go off on adventures, I think. So I'm trying to piece together what's going on, but it's really good at the same time. There's also like a couple, 2 or 3 dog deaths in this, which I don't really mind sad things in books, but it's like the first dog you think dies, and then later you find out he didn't die, but then he does die. So it's almost like he double died. And then there's another dog that you really like, and he just straight up like dies for his master. But it's like he died a good death, I feel like. But it's like, god damn, the sadness. So many dogs are dying in this. And then you think another guy dies. I mean, there's just, I don't know, a lot of death. So the types of magic, right? There's 2 types of mental magic. There's one called the skill. It's a skill, motherfucker. You go around the corner. And there's one called the wit. So the first one, he figures out on his own. There's also maybe a third type of magic, because when he goes to that forge town, he realizes the people that have been forged, they don't have any connection to everything. Because he's able to see connections between people and dogs and like objects and stuff, maybe. Like he can tell when somebody's about to knock on his door, or like come up the stairs, or like he can sense people coming and stuff. So I don't know if he's the only one that can do that, or like everybody that could do this wit or skill, whatever, can do that. So that might be like a third type of thing that's just special to Fitz. Because I think like his dad had the skill, and I think his mother may have had the wit. But then he's got this like stable master guy, Birch. Also, not a great name. Birch, like bitch. But whatever. Oh, also one of the first dog's name is Nosy. You got Nosegay and you got Nosy. Like, too much nose stuff in this. Right, so yeah, I think his mother may have had the wit. That way he kind of gets both, and maybe when you have both, you have this third thing, maybe. So the skill is kind of like, shit. What is it like? Not the Force from Star Trek, but it's like the Vulcan mind-to-mind technique. You can talk to other people using your mind. Wait, what's another good example of that? There's several things that do that. So you can do it to people without them knowing it. So like this guy Verity, another one of those names, he's like preventing the Red Ship Raiders from attacking the land, because he'll like mess with their navigators, and he'll make them think they've already checked something and they didn't, and he'll run them into like a storm or smash them against the rocks, and he's fucking up all these Red Ship Raiders, right? By the way, the 4th book, Ship of Magic, is about these ships that are alive. They're called the live ships. This is the live ship trilogy. So I don't know if those are the same as the Red Ship Raiders, or if that's a different thing, or if this is going to like take us into a different kind of area and explain more to us. But yeah, the skill, you can talk mind to mind, so it's kind of like having a Wi-Fi or a 2-way radio in fantasy times, medieval times. You can get groups, and you can kind of use each other's strength too, and you can't really. Yeah, I guess you can. If somebody else has the skill, you can like overpower them and pull their skill out and just kill them. So you can kind of use it to assassinate, apparently, which I kind of thought was going to be what they were doing when they were forging people, but they may be just like pulling their soul out mentally or something. But then Verity does it to his half brother or whatever, and he kills him. So you can't forge them that way because it just kills them. So yeah, Fitz is like being secretly trained to be an assassin. Everybody else is like training him on just being like a regular royal court guy, and they're teaching him like reading and herbalism and working with animals and stuff like that. So the one guy wants him to be an apprentice for like copying, writing things down, but he doesn't know that he's an assassin, so he can't do both. So it's kind of weird. And also, I really like this world because the rulers and the noblemen, like the ruling class people, they're actually good people, except for all the ones that are like doing all this backstabbing, intrigue, and stuff in the background. But like, what is that girl's name? The princess. I can't remember. Patience, another virtue. So Patience is teaching him like plants and shit, because while she is like, this prince is okay. So all right, Chivalry is his dad. Fitz his dad. Patience is Chivalry's wife, so it will be his stepmother. And then she finds out that Chivalry had a bastard because Chivalry was like well loved and he was kind of like too perfect. But then everybody finds out he has this bastard, and they like realize he wasn't perfect. So then she was kind of pissed off at Fitz for a couple of months. Then she realized that he's a baby, nothing really he could do about it, and then she likes him, and she can't take him under her wing when Chivalry dies. So then she is like, you find out she's been like trying to like create this process for making really good paper, because if you write this certain kind of runic language, the ink bleeds everywhere and it's hard to read. So they're like really doing stuff and like trying to like improve technology and culture and stuff. And like the people that run a duchy, the king runs all 6 duchies, and there's 6 dukes, I guess, that run the duchy, and they're actually expected to like take care of business and like not cut too many forests down and make sure there's plenty of farmland to like have crops and man these towers to keep the red ship raiders at bay. You know, like they have to do all this stuff. So they're actually like servants of the people, which is really good. So then, even in the mountain country, like really close to the end, there's like 100 pages left or less, and like they start going on this big adventure. He gets like an assassination mission. They're going to like wed this woman from the mountain country to Verity. But so like Fifth has to go. I'm like, it seems like there's not enough pages left for this to happen. So I feel like the book was too long, but it's a really short book. So I feel like they needed to like add more stuff, but then move this to another book. But then it kind of kept going, and they had time to like get everything done. But it felt a little bit rushed. But they cranked everything into the last 100 pages, and like so much stuff happened in the last bit. So it kind of worked. But then, yeah, the people in the mountain country, they also are like really into like herbalism and farming and like crossbreeding different plants. Like they had an apple tree that had a branch that they fused to it, and it grew pears. So like they were doing stuff. And they had like lumber technology and stuff they were working on. Like the people that are like rulers, even like they put them in these litters because they were like so tired from climbing up the mountains or whatever, that they had some of these old women come and pick them up in a litter and like carry them up the mountain. And then he finds out one of the old women is like the king's sister. Because like the rulers are actually, they send out this whole party of people like minstrels to like sing you the songs of their history and stuff to kind of like welcome you in before they even bring you in, so like you know what you're getting into. It's pretty dope. Pretty nice place to live. I don't want to live out in the mountain country, I think, if I was in this land. But then the flatlands is pretty good too. I don't know. I mean, yeah, so towards the end, all this cool like assassin intrigue kind of mental mind trick stuff starts happening. Also, the thing about the wit is that I didn't even tell you what the wit was. So the skill is person to person fuckeries. Wit is getting into the minds of animals and like connecting to them and having them be kind of like with you, like you have a dual sharing kind of thing. So it's really looked down upon, at least by Birch. Birch says like he would rather have somebody as one of these forged people than to be like a wit, because they're like half beasts. They get too into it and they become like a dog, or they become an animal or something. So like Fitz is having no problem with it. He's just like talking to dogs and like seeing through their eyes, and they'll smell shit. Like he had the puppy, like he was smelling stuff, and he was just like, "Oh, you smell this? Well, let me just send you a mental picture of what you're smelling." And the dog's like, "Oh man, that's amazing. Take me there, show me." And he's like, it's like this cool like interaction between man and beast. Seems dope as fuck. But Burridge, for some reason, thinks it's the worst fucking thing in the world. So maybe it's because he has both that he's not going crazy. I don't know, but like wit seems a really good ability. You can call animals to like save you and stuff. But there's no like summoning fire or ice or any kind of like elemental type magic that I can see so far anyway. Maybe it's in another book. But there is that whatever they're doing to forge people, that's probably some type of magic or something. I don't know what they're doing. That's why I'm thinking, like, this is a book that makes you want to just keep reading more, because I want to find out more about this world. So I don't know if I'm going to, like, read something else in between, or I'm just going to skip right ahead to a Royal Assassin. I think that's the second one, right? Book 2, yep. I might have to just go right into it, because I'm digging this world. Jade City, I didn't really want to read the second book that much. Dragon Ball Chair, definitely didn't, but like Malice and Valor, I was like, yeah, I've kind of had enough for a while. I can take a break. Ruin, I'm really looking forward to though. But like, I'm in the middle of all these series right now, so maybe I'll at least do this trilogy, and then maybe I'll go back to like Jade War. Everybody says it's really good. I really want to read like Piranesi though, and like some other books. I don't know. Anyway, this one was a 5 out of 5. Top tier favorites. I think everybody else, there's a lot of people that say this is their favorite book too, so you can't really go wrong with it.